Hey friends, and welcome to part 3 of Lulu's House of Wonder. And we're finishing up this, I'm calling it Strawberry Tea page. I will definitely say that basing the colors in any sort of marker really speeds up the process. By the end of this video, I will be almost done with this page. I decided to go with like a peachy orangey color. And again, I'm spreading it around the page using that base YR33 Rose Cream. Now I'm going to be coming in here with my pencils. I have 122, hold on a second, 122, which I believe is permanent red. I was correct. Then we have 922, which is poppy red. We have 921 pale vermilion, and then we have 939, which is peach. For the most part, I don't really use any of that really dark espresso color with the peaches, but here we go. So just keeping in mind the artists, the lines that they drew, I'm just using one side of that as the shadow, the other side as the highlight. So as I was saying, in the end, all I have left to do is just color the actual skunks. Still kind of debating how I want to do that. Trying to find some inspiration. Anyway, going from there. So we're just going to add in these orangey, kind of peachy things in here. So the dress on the skunk on the right, the flowers on the skunk on the left, and then the curtains. So as I was saying, I try to move the color around on my page. My general rule of thumb is in 3 different spots, making some sort of visual triangle. That's a whole lot, but basically just 3 different spots. So I did those 3 areas. Anyway, going from there. So now we're going to come in and do the lights. And I was thinking that I wanted to add like some actual yellow in the background, but this color really didn't stick. So I used YOO Lemon Mist, which you can hardly see. And then for the actual bulbs, I did base that in Y02 Lemon Chiffon. And then I'm coming in with 4 Prismacolor pencils, 1034, which is goldenrod, 942, which is yellow ochre, 916, which is canary yellow, and then finally 1011, which is deco yellow. And that's really scary. I actually did that by memory. So anyway, you'll notice that the base with the marker, I did not go all the way to the edges of the leaves. I really wanted to leave the leaves, I should say the petals, I wanted to leave them white. So just blending out this yellow to white. So as you can see there, so just the very tips of them are left white. Such fun flowers. So I decided to go ahead and just do 3 flowers just to get started. Again, 3 different areas. And then I leave the last 2 flowers for later. All right, now we are going to get into the actual like teacup, which I had a hard time figuring out what this was. So I decided to make it a teacup. And I'm going to base this in this beautiful blue color. This is B03 Frost. I was thinking about markers. I was thinking that like if you're going to start basing your pages in a marker, like a pastel set would work really well, because for this technique, you're really not going to be using the really bright colors. All right, so we're just basing all of that. I'm thinking in the end that I might do the trim of that saucer like a gold. Now we're going to come in with our Prismacolor pencils in blue. Let me grab those really quick. All right, we have got 903, which is true blue. Then we move to 919, which is non-photo blue. 1040 is a tricky color. So it looks, when you hold up the pencil, it actually looks, it looks like it's darker than the other colors, but when you color with it, it's actually very light. It's the 1040 electric blue, and then finishing off with 1086 sky blue light. And I'm not like getting too fussy with my shading on this cup. So just getting some color down on the page. Sorry, I'm a little bit off camera there. So sorry, I got carried away. So just blending it up from the bottom. It's kind of dark towards the bottom, and then it's lightening up as it goes up. And again, I think I'm going to do those little trim pieces, maybe in gold. Haven't quite decided yet. So that color is at 903. Now I'm going to come in with the 919 and then the 1040, which is much lighter. And then we have the 1086, which is very, very light. So have you tried coloring and basting your pages with marker? I've done a couple pages in the past like this, but this is my first time using my alcohol markers for this purpose. So I am on the hunt for some additional books that have single-sided pages. I know I have some Camilla de Erico books that are like this. So now I decide to go and so I really don't want to add too many other colors to my page. So now I'm just going in and starting the details. So for the sleeves, the rest of the sleeves, the little belt, all of that, I'm just using that same blue combination. I love that little character. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And then now I'm like, okay, what are you going to do now? So I want to do my skunks, and I really want like their fur to be, like fuzzy looking. So I realize I have to do the background before I color my skunks. So I did decide to use my Derwent Inktense pencils. Again, any watercolor would work, or even just regular pencil. The Inktense pencils are really cool. So they're watercolor. You activate them with water, which you'll see me do in just a second. And then once you've activated them and they dry, they're then permanent. They will not reactivate again. So I am layering two different colors. I have the 740, which is mauve. That's the darker color there. And then the lighter color that I'm using is 735, which is amethyst. So I'm not doing a solid background here. It's just kind of very watercolory, kind of like a halo around the picture. And then you'll notice that I did go in off camera, and I did color in the other two flowers as well as the flowers on the right-handed skunk's dress. And I did those yellows using the same combinations that I did previously. So now I'm just taking my water brush. I wasn't sure how the paper was going to react to the water, but it did just fine. So you will see me kind of dab off my brush every once in a while. I am trying to be mindful of how much water I am putting on the page, so I don't want it to be, too saturated. You'll also notice that there's like some little dots that are showing. That's just the fibers of the paper. This paper is not intended for watercolors. They do dry out just fine. So you'll notice that my edges are very, very sloppy, very painterly. I'm not too worried about it. This area, oh man, you see like there's a big line there. I did not intend for that to happen. I end up trying to clean it up just a little bit. So I think the purple was like a perfect addition to this page, adds some contrast to all of the other colors, just grounds it a little bit. So yeah, there we are. We're just about done. I'm just going to deepen up some of those some of those corners just a little bit. I do wait until the page is dry before I start that. All right, take care. Next time, the skunks.